Kia ora. Now, some of you would know this. For a long time now, I have been working on building a space, a community for people to return to themselves, right? Return to wholeness. So I have my podcast, Returning to Wholeness, was with Catherine Parr's like, but now it's just Returning to Wholeness because I have so many amazing different spiritual practitioners that have joined me in this space. I have that on Spotify and YouTube. I also have my readings that I give. So I also give readings, healings, whichever modality is called in at the time. I was raised as a healer. My mother did mirimiri massage, urumurumi, and I was taught that from a very young age. So probably I think I was massaging my my mum, my koro, my grandmother, my auntie who had club feet at like the age of 7. And so in that space, and because I've always been a sea or a matakite, I would always just know where the pain was, and I would just intuitively always go to where it was needed. And so I've never had to be taught that. It's always been something that has just come to me naturally, which I'm very grateful for. I'm very grateful to my mum for teaching me the ways, and also my grandfather and my grandmother for guiding me through that as well. So throughout my life, I have done mirimiri on my kaumātua, on my kuia, on my those that have had hape feet, which is club feet. Within our whānau, anybody that has been injured or anything along those lines, there's always been kind of my role to come in and do that. I've always known to send love and light. So, it's like driving past an accident and you say, oh, I hope they're okay. I send them lots of love and light, and you just instinctively do that. So that's also working with source, working with the, some will call it the Reiki energy, or the energy of the one, of the whole, the all that is. So, so that's a little bit about me and my gifts. I have always known this, but I haven't always worked in this space. Now, there's been reasons for that, and I think this is why I'm so wanting to help those who have these gifts tap into their gifts and work with their gifts and keep themselves safe and whole, because I didn't have that guidance in regards to my intuition, in regards to my psychic mediumship, and which at times became quite dark. Okay, so there were spaces where, so the thing is that when you are vulnerable with these gifts, when you know these gifts, there are other elements, entities, whatever. I don't like saying those words because it makes it sound very demonic, and it's not. It's just that there's different layers to everything. Let's put it that way. But anyway, so there's things that attach onto you to keep you from tapping into your gifts, right? So they do that because there is a collective consciousness. And if that collective consciousness doesn't align with what is happening at that time, they come in and they control that alignment. Okay, so for a long time there, now, I mean, from their lens, right? Okay, because it's not necessarily the right lens, but it's the lens that was dominating the frequency at the time. Let's put it that way. And so they have the power and the authority to do that, and from that lens, right? So your job as matakite, as clairvoyant, the spiritual intuitive, is to cleanse yourself of those in order to be able to keep yourself strong and tuturu, staunch within that, in that space. And so, so I never had that. Okay. So, and I also have 2 lineages within me, as we do, but I always have 2 very spiritual, strong lineages within me. So my grandfather, what's going on, my granddad is my dad, but it's actually my biological father is Bohemian Gypsy. So that line is very, very much, very spiritual, right? So they're very, very spiritual people. They knew how to work with darkness and turn it into light, or even just to neutralize it, right? So sometimes we always think, oh, if it's dark, it needs to be light. Well, actually, no, sometimes it just needs to be neutral. And so they could work with that. And you'll see a lot of people that are within that space are shadow workers, so they work within the darker spaces, the darker realms of all that is. And it's because they've got the power to. But also, some lose their way, especially when I say, they don't have that guidance. They've had attachments attached onto them that have stopped them from being able to move forward. And, that's when you get a lot of mental health, schizophrenia, all of those kind of labels that get put on them. If you talk to lots of tohunga, or not lots of, but tohunga who have worked within the space for a long time, especially down, I hear there is tohunga down in Gisborne. There's tohunga in Tuhui, so there's tohunga that understand that a lot of mental health issues is more to do with what is attached to them, what is holding them back from being able to be their true selves, what is suppressing them, and why is it suppressing them? A lot of the time it's suppressing them because they hold a lot of power, okay? And if there's a lot of power there, what happens is whatever is controlling that collective consciousness, whatever is controlling that collective consciousness can't control it. So it will send things to attach onto it to stop it, right? So it is important that we are doing the work. So we're doing the spiritual cleansing. We're doing the inner knowing, the work within to keeping that inner voice strong. Right, because also what happens is, and this has happened a lot along my journey, is the people that you love and you trust and that are meant to be those people that you can lean on tend to turn against you. And they turn against you because they have attachments on them. So when you're not conscious of what is going on between the veil or in the veil or whatever, beyond the veil, this is what comes up. So, and so when you understand that, okay, this isn't that person, yes, we all have a choice, and that's what sometimes gets me. Sometimes it's like, you've got a choice to choose whether you're going to do this or not, and you still do, then okay. But a lot of the time, when they're not consciously creating, we call that, being a conscious creator or a subconscious creator. When they're in their subconscious, so they're not consciously creating their environment, their situations, these things attach onto them, and it's blinding. They don't even know they're doing it. It's like there are so many layers to this. It's so like, I'm going to keep going, but as we're talking to like the evil eye, or we're talking to when people cast ill against you. So the evil eye isn't like, oh, I'm going to like do some voodoo shit on you, right? The evil eye can be as simple as, I hope that person fails. I hope they break up. I hope this. I hope that. That is the evil eye. It's as simple as that, right? Because where attention goes, energy flows. So if they're focusing on that, they're opening up a door for that to happen for you. Okay. So sometimes, you can be walking along, you're like, man, why do I feel, prime example, why do I feel insecure? Why am I feeling like somebody's going to take my partner away from me, or my children away from me, or, or nobody wants me, nobody loves me? A lot of the time is it's not a reality. It's what somebody is casting upon you from their own jealousy and insecurity. Now, when your energy field is weak, when you are weak, when you are not feeling, when you're not feeding your soul and you're out here and you're not in here, that's when they get in. That's when they can get in, and they can, it can affect you. Now, if you're being strong, you're in your spiritual sovereignty, those things come across your mind and you go, boom, filtered out. So yeah, doesn't affect me. It's not a part of my world. So you're consciously creating what comes in and out. So it's, it's funny because I talk into this as if there's a select few, but if we understand that everybody is matakiti, everybody is a seer, everybody is an intuitive, right? We all intuitively know, I want to go with that company, I want to go work with them, or I want to go and live over here. It just feels right. That's using your intuition. Okay, so we all have these abilities. It just depends on how much we tap into that. Now, I thought I was going to do like a 3-minute reel, but it seems to be going and going. So maybe this is going to be uploaded on YouTube. But I think it's really important that I start to really get this information out there, and I start talking into my knowledge and my knowing as well, because I'm constantly sharing other people's work. But my work is it's important too, because I want to talk to my collective, and I think you're ready. I think you guys are coming on board. I think you're ready to like step in and step up, and I'm excited to guide you through that. So let me keep going. um, Now, so we've talked into entities, we've talked into, spiritual, I call it spiritual hygiene. And it's funny because a lot of, everybody has their own way of interpreting the world, right? And so I've spoken to some people and they're like, oh, you don't even need to worry about spiritual hygiene. Like if your mind's right, if you did it, and I'm like, well, hold up, that is all spiritual hygiene. Okay. So there are some tools that I have been given along the way from some amazing ascended masters, spiritual practitioners that have been in the field for over 30 years, speaking their truth. Amazing. And the big one for me, I think, has come from, and I don't want to, but this is, okay, so the most recent, let's put it that way, is Blessed Ira Tabash, and he talks into clearing and cleansing your energy field, right? That's probably the clearest way because I know that it's been spoken to me from many different spaces, but this is the one that was probably the clearest and landed for me the easiest. Is that at the end of the day, you say all of the energy of today, I now clear and cleanse from my space and send it back to source. Now, the thing with the human mind, the ego, is that we're going to want to cling on to bits. We're going to say, oh, hold on. I had a win here. I want to keep that. And I had this there and I want to keep that and da, 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 da. But the thing is that for more to come in, we have to clear it all out. We have to create more space so that we can allow more in. Okay. So all we're doing is I take this back to Kabbalah, which I've learned from David Guillen, is that all you're doing is you're just building more muscle, right? So you're building more muscle so that you've got more capacity to hold and expand more. Okay, so now I'm going to tap into that's the clearing side of things, right? And so it's easier to clear and cleanse. Let's go here when you've been through something negative and you don't want to hold it anymore, right? It's easier for you to go, let that go. Well, actually, it's easier for me. Some people, they actually hold on to that because it's what they identify with. They don't have that. Who are they, right? And instead of I don't have that, I'm at the edge of a cliff. How exciting. What is next? It's, oh my God, I'm at the edge of a cliff. I don't know what that is. No, I'm going to hold on to this back here because it's keeping me in position, right? Instead of if I let that go because I don't like this position, I can jump there and it's limitless. Okay. So why do we do that? It's the human ego. It's the state of fear. It's survival. It's the reason, it's the reptilian brain. It's the reason why we have survived so far because we hold on to what we know and we grow and expand from that, right? But you get to a space where you can no longer expand or learn anymore unless you start repeating it. That's when we start seeing patterns and we're like, my God, I'm here again. I'm repeating the same thing again. Why? Because I haven't let it go. I haven't said, hey, source, thank you so much. I've gotten everything that I need out of this. Source, universe, God, however way you word the all that is. I have gotten everything that I need out of this. And I thank you so much. Thank you. Ka kite anō. Well, see you later. Bye-bye. Don't need it anymore. Okay, so when you do that, when you say, okay, thank you, God, I got everything out of this pattern, I totally appreciate it. He'll come at you. He'll say, hold up, no, are you sure? Because he's wanting to make sure that you got everything you needed from it. So that pattern will come back and it'll come back tenfold. And you'll look at that and you're like, oh my God, like, how can I give you an example without it being too specific into, okay, so, I want something, Spirit, please, can you give me something that's palatable and easy for them to digest? Okay, so they're bringing up money. Money seems to be the thing. Okay, so say what's meant to do with jobs? Money and jobs. Wow. Give me money and jobs. Give me something to do with money and jobs. Okay, so we're looking at different. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we hear this is how Spirit talks to me. Okay, so what they're saying is that you go to a job, you're in this job, you're in this pattern of the boss is like this, the co-workers are like this, the job is like this, and you're like, oh man, I'm so sick of this job. I'm so sick of the bosses being like this. We're going to remember that everything is an extension and projection of our inner self. Okay. So whether that boss is actually like that or not, that's how they're going to turn out, because that's what you see it through your lens. They may not be like that, but then we call it the bias, right? The conscious bias. Is it conscious bias? Confirmation bias. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. So the confirmation bias. So regardless of whether or not that's actually happening or not, we will look for signs to confirm what we are thinking. Okay. So the confirmation bias. So what I'm saying is, you go to this job, the boss is like this, the co-workers are like this, right. And then you think, man, I'm out. I got to go to a new job. I'm so sick of this. I'm sick of this environment. I'm sick of these people. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this, right? You leave that job and you go to another job. Before you know it, the boss is like this. The co-workers are like this. That job is like this. And you're like, far out. Why is it like, same again, blah, 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 blah. You don't realize that actually that is all coming from within you, and that there is something in this situation that you, as a co-creator of source, a God, have created for yourself to be able to learn, grow, and expand them. Now, once you have that ability to see that, oh, I'm here growing, expanding in this space. So what is it that keeps coming up for me that's really triggering me? And it's, the boss, the female boss is so dominating. Let's go there. She's so dominating. She just this and she's just that. Now, where is it in my life that this pattern has come up? Because it's not just in my workplace. Trust you, me. My husband hates that. So trust me when I say this. That pattern right there is something that your soul has brought in to work through. Okay. So it'll be in your mother's life, whether it be your mother or your mother's sister, or you're like an auntie or a great grandmother or a grandmother or a father's mother or whatever. It'll be within the woman line, or your sister or your cousin or something, someone close to you. There'll be dominant woman within that field. And you'll be like, this reminds me of that. So you're associating with that. You're not actually looking at the fact that, hold up, me as a co-creator with source has pulled this woman into my space to work through this trigger that I've got, to work through this issue that I've got. Now let's talk into that. Now, what happens is when we have this stuff that we need to work through, and like, you gotta remember, like, we all kind of think like, oh, we get punished, blah, blah, blah. No. We are creating this. We are the co-creators with source. Okay. So when we have gone through these issues in our lives, so say, the mother wound, we'll go back to that. The mother wound, the female wound, and that's, a lot of that can, and I don't want to go too far, but, past life stuff where things have happened to you, or you have been that person in a past life where you were a dominant force, and now you've come back to work through what it feels like to be dominated as a male being dominated by a woman. So in the past life, maybe you were the woman and you dominated the man. And maybe those people that are here with you that are experiencing it so close to you are ones that you hurt, or ones that chose to come through to help you through this transitional process. Back to this. So when we look at that, when these relationships, like, so we got plan A, plan B, plan C before we come, right? So these are the people that are going to come in. So we've got our family, right? Usually our family, like, these people are going to help you get through this wound that you've got, or this process, or this goal that you want to overcome, or this karma that you want to clear out. Okay. Now, if those people, which will be the strongest, hardest, most like embedded in their ones, like the subconscious, because it's, usually through your formative years that they're the ones that are really laying it on you, or building those bonds so that when they do come at you, it hurts the most. Because you remember, building muscle to get stronger, to expand and grow, to get bigger, and all of the things. Okay, so it's not because they're mean and the world is against you. It's because you've chosen this, and they're saying, yeah, man, I'll help you out with that, right? So you got to remember that everything is working for you, not against you. So now what I'm talking about is back to where you're building muscle, la-di-da-di-da. Okay, plan A, right? So when plan A fails, which is you're shutting down. You're not growing from these relationships. You're just hurting, right? And it's just weakening you, and it's holding you in a space where you're not growing and you're not getting out of it. That's when plan B comes in, right? Plan B may be like your friendships at school, your cousins, maybe not so intimate, like maybe distant relations start playing those roles. And you're like, oh, I remember this when I'm out, right? So you just tap out. You're like, actually, no, I'm not doing this. I'm just going to avoid you. We've all been there. I am one of them. Don't worry. So then plan C comes in. So you got to understand, you've got all these different plans, you've got all these different teams that are coming in to help you grow and expand, right? That's what it's at. It's where it's at. It's not about you being victimized and it just keeps happening. Why does it keep happening to me? Poor me, poor me, poor me. It's okay. All right. We're almost there. You still have to work through this. This is God, right? This is source, or this is your higher self. We still got to work through this. We still got to grow and expand in this space. This is what we set out to do here. We don't want to have to come back and do this one again. We've already done that. Like, let's get this done, right? So let's have a look at work. Let's have a look at that situation. Is that the woman in that space? Is she, can she do that? Can she play the role? Oh, yeah, she's agreed to it. Yeah, sweet as. Here she comes. Now, she may not be playing that role at all, but because in your lens, you have decided that this is the wound that I want to work through, that's how she's going to turn up for you. That's how you're going to see her. And it's not until you work through that person doesn't keep manifesting in your life. Now, okay, I just want to talk back into why we go A, B, C. Okay, so A, too close to home, shutting down, not getting anything from it. So they go, okay, let's bring in something softer. Still just walking away from it, doesn't want to, okay, let's bring in something a little bit softer. So that's how it works, is it's like, okay, well, the further we go away from that core consciousness, and it's somebody that's out here that's not so close, means you can work through it more, right? Because there's almost like, it's like, okay, well, you can come back and you can reflect. It's not going so deep within that it's shutting you down. This is why we bring in people in the workplace. We bring in people in friendships. We bring in people, that kind of thing. And so a lot of the time, those wounds. Okay, so another thing is that sometimes these people can come up and look like they are horrible, and sometimes they are horrible. Okay, I don't want to get it twisted. There are some horrible bosses out there. There are some horrible people out there. Why do they come in? They come in to strengthen you. They come in to strengthen you because there is something that is going to happen at the next stage of your life that you are going to need that strength for. Sometimes it may be the abandonment, like the loss of. So it could be the loss of a mother, a sister, a daughter, those kinds of things when we're talking about that feminine wound. Okay, when that happens, you have had all of this build up, all of this strength that you've been doing to be able to carry that weakened state within the feminine field, within that energetic vibration. Okay. And so, okay, it's fine. I've got this. I know what to do here. It's almost like you've got all the tools in your kitty. You've got all the tools in your tool belt to be able to get through this next part, right? So we're understanding, like, we as humans, and this is just how it is the human consciousness has the reptilian brain. I like that. The reptilian brain is there to help you to focus in on one thing, because if we could see everything the way that a lot of us psychic mediums and clairvoyants and spiritual practitioners that have done the work to be able to see it from an expanded view. But if we saw it all the time, let's just put it that way, it would be too overwhelming and too much. Okay. So the reason why we only see within, pinpoint into what it is that we need to see is so that we can stay focused, but also so that we can overcome, we can work through these things. Okay. So God, I had a little, it's just kind of going,